was it the kind of like almost chip on your shoulder or that, that fuel that brought you into entrepreneurship? Or is that also kind of in the DNA bloodline, in the fact that your parents, I mean, the risk that they took, again, when you describe the, if you were presented with that option and they said yes to it, I mean, the courage and maybe it's that like the other option was so bad, they just had to take the risk, but still most people don't. So where does this kind of, entrepreneurial and or, aversion to risk or tolerance for risk come from?
Yeah. So I think a couple things. But before I go to where I think it came from, what actually was happening around me when I was 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever, every adult male figure around me had their own little business. One of my uncles became a taxi cab driver. He got a medallion. He got a crew working for him. My dad bought a sewing kit, and then he ultimately started sewing things out of the other bedroom in our apartment and called it his mini business that grew all right. And then somebody bought a pawn shop. Somebody became a musician and did venues. So they were all, I didn't know the word at the time, entrepreneur, but they were all quote unquote small business owners and doing things. And again, it's all relatives. When you actually start counting the money, sure, maybe $100 doesn't mean much these days, but back then, US dollars, and you could do so much with it. It was fascinating. So what was happening around me is that a lot of people were doing that and they were trying to make a name for themselves. And I don't know exactly where that fuel came from, but that's what they were doing. And so I just grew up immersed in that. The other thing that was going on is I was just constantly reminded at every twist and turn that you can really be whatever you want to be here. You don't have that thing in your passport that has your ethnicity and religion. You can become whatever the hell you want, and no one here will stop you. You can wear, whatever you want on the street, whatever color, any time of the day, and there won't be somebody saying to you, "No, go home." Most of the time here. I guess I'm embellishing a little bit, but you get the idea. And I just had this like drilled in over and over and over, and I was seeing it over and over and over, and that felt great, man. That felt awesome. Yeah, sure, kids pick on you at school, but when adults give you that kind of encouragement, it's actually happening aloud around you. That was fascinating. Now, when I go back as an adult to like think about all that, sure, that's all wonderful. I do think that my family heritage has a lot to do with it because at every generation we have moved. That at every generation there was some terrible, terrible thing that happened that you got to get through, and they did. And now I'm complaining about the size of my Starbucks order. And you laugh because every problem is like silly little thing.
Yeah. Well, your Starbucks order is a bit intricate. So it's not like my black coffee. So you have a little more to complain about there. Well, it makes sense. And I do think that there's this, environmental thing and this heritage and then your own experience that really contribute to your state of being and, having smart, hardworking, motivated people hustling and being creative all around you has got to have an impact, especially when this has been going on for generations.